So the theory of change actually talks and starts from that place of vision, of radical imagination, of saying, this is the world we deserve to live in. I deserve to drive a Volvo and wear a Patagonia jacket, drive around with my husband, and be legally married. That's the one I wanted. Not to be poisoned in the water by the refinery that I live next to. Right? But you also have to understand who has the power to bring about the change and who or what influences them. So we're going to actually talk about power mapping as well. That's part B of a theory of change. And part C is, what are the actions our group need to take to activate this, and then move these things and put these steps into motion. And so a theory of change is really simply summarized as, if we do C, then A will happen because of B. So if we go and talk to our legislators about healthcare reform, then we'll have access to healthcare reform because we organized. Make sense? So I'm going to ask a question of you all now, and just with a show of hands, I want you to raise your hands if you believe that your current reality matches all of your wildest dreams. Okay, no one. So I'm going to ask a question, and we're going to do some mic runners now. What would your current reality, how would your current reality be different if you were living your fullest dreams? Not just for you, but for the community in which you live. How would things be different? Describe it to me. About any issue you care about, any part of your community. We have someone here. Let's wait for the microphone so folks online can hear us.
I would know when I was safe.
You would know when you were safe. Yeah. So what would have to change for that to happen?
Recognition, not just by me, but by others, that I was not safe.
Thank you for sharing that. So recognition that you're not safe, and support from others in your community to build up your safety. How about for others? How would your daily reality look different if we were living our dreams? If the policies, the structures, the institutions that shape our daily lives were different, how would it look?
We wouldn't be seeing homeless people on the streets here every day.
What would we see instead of seeing homeless people on the street here in Cambridge?
We'd see no one on the street.
Say that again?
We'd see no one on the street.
Where would they be?
In homes, in beds and shelters, somewhere.
Yeah. So instead of seeing folks sleep on the street, we would see them cared for by their community. They would have roofs over their heads, meals in their stomachs.
Yeah.
It's a great example. Others? One here, and then we'll move on.
I think it will look different when I and my the other citizens have a voice to raise, and that voice is heard by the government, and we can make a difference in the country.
I promise he wasn't a plant, but this is where I'm going with this. Thank you very much for saying that. Where we have an equal voice and an equal say in our democracy. What's the gap between our reality and our dreams right now? What bridges the gap between our reality and our dreams? You don't have to answer necessarily, someone else can. I'm going to make a bold statement here. This gap, what fills this gap is power. If we want to turn our current reality into our dream reality, if we want to actually see these things enacted into policy or into daily practice of having people get off the streets and into shelters and protected by their community, or making sure our neighbors are safe, or making sure that our democracy is well protected, we need power. And that's hard to say at a space like this when we're talking about resistance and fighting the power, because mostly we see or experience power in a negative way. For those of us who come from marginalized communities who have had power exercised against us, it comes with a lot of baggage. As a person of color, as a queer person, as someone who grew up low income, power usually meant the forces, the systems, the institutions that were doing harm to me. But I want us to get out of that mindset, especially tonight. Because if we think that politics is about the improvement of people's lives, I'm going to say that again, that is at the core of who we are at Wellstone Action, the organization I work for, the content that you have here tonight. We think that politics should be about the improvement of people's lives. And if we are not living our dreams, that means we do not have the power yet to live those dreams. So part of our work as organizers, as resistors, as people who want to see and build a better America, then what we have to do is actually fight for power.